25 ways? Yes, we are ready. Dude, okay.
Welcome back to Guga Foods. My name is Guga, and today I'm exploring
His name is Guga.
almost every way to cook a steak.
I'm ready, boys.
To keep this test as consistent as possible, I got the steaks from the
Hi,
same
Guga.
spot. All of them have the same grain,
Oh.
which my supplier calls them premium. They are basically a choice steak with a better marbling score. So let's get started.
They look so good.
If you are unfamiliar with a ribeye, this is what it looks like. There's always a cap.
Lucy, thank you for the follow. Thank
The cap
you.
is one of the most flavorful piece of meat in the cow.
Guga,
I season
Guga
most
brothers.
steaks with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And for most steaks, I let it rest for at least an hour so that the salt can penetrate deeply into the meat.
Penetrate.
Seared steak. Fill the pan with some high heat oil. I'm using avocado oil. Bring it to medium high heat from burning. And instead of getting black char, you'll get that beautiful Maillard reaction like this. So flip as many times as necessary.
This is my
Once
kind
you
of
reach your
stream.
desired color, set your stove to low heat. Add 3 tablespoons of butter. Throw in some aromatics. I'm using garlic and rosemary.
Everyone's
You can
like,
use thyme
oh.
or many other things. As the butter is melting, it will deglaze the pan. And using a spoon, you want to keep basting the steak. This will make your steak a lot more flavorful.
Oh, dude, I'm so hungry.
Internal temperature. The dishwasher steak. After seasoning it, put it in a vacuum bag. Open up your dishwasher and make sure there's no dirty dishes. Put it to start and let it wash for a full cycle. Now, I gotta be
What?
honest. As soon as I removed the steak from the bag, it looked exactly like a sous vide steak. So I couldn't help myself but to slice it open. And as I did,
In
it
the
is
fucking
exactly
dishwasher?
like a sous vide steak. It is perfectly cooked from edge to edge. Obviously, just like a sous vide steak, there's no crust. But we can fix that real quick. Once that beautiful crust was put on the steak, I quickly sliced it open. And oh boy, this is good.
Dude.
This is a sous vide steak. It is
I know what I'm
perfectly
doing
cooked.
soon.
And all of us were like,
Look at his
"What?
knife, dude.
This
Look
steak
at
is
his
amazing."
knife.
And I know it's hard to believe, but it is exactly
Oh,
like a sous vide
boy.
steak. It is juicy, tender, very flavorful.
What if you ate it raw?
And you could not stop eating it. If
Do
I
it.
blindfold you and give you this in a restaurant, you would say it was a sous vide steak. This is a great way to cook a steak. The front
Tender.
seared steak.
It's
Get your
tender.
charcoal real hot and sear in both sides. 2
Dude.
degrees Fahrenheit in the bake setting and let it preheat. With a tray and your cooling rack, add your
Those
seasoned
steaks
steak
look
to the
so
oven and let it
good.
cook for 30 minutes.
So
This is
good.
just like the reverse seared method on the grill. As you can see, it was perfectly cooked, edge to edge.
Bake?
Perfection,
I know.
medium rare.
Like a
There is
cake.
no crust. So just like a sous vide steak or the
So
dishwasher
good.
steak, we have to put a crust. on it.
Dishwasher
By
steak,
tasting without
dude.
a crust, it tastes okay.
Vlogs,
It is
I
juicy,
feel you.
It's tender, but it's missing something, and we can fix that.
Oh, of course we
As
can.
I
Get a
slice it
fucking
open
lighter
now,
on
you
it.
can tell the difference. Now that is a much better steak. That's what I'm talking about. The deep fried steak. Fill up the pot with canola
Deep
oil and bring it
fried?
to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Get your perfectly
Deep
seasoned steak
fried?
and throw it in there. After 7 minutes, take it out and it has a beautiful crust. Probably one of the most
Deep
juicy,
fried.
perfectly cooked medium rare.
I would
the
drive
edges
it- I
has
would
a
drive
little
it the
bit of
dishwasher,
brown, but
though.
The crust is just
I
incredible.
like the
And
dishwasher
the
steak
flavor
more.
from the Maillard reaction of the crust can't be explained. And to be honest, everyone that tried the steak wanted more. So I had to end up cooking 3 more after this. This is a great way to cook a steak. Everyone wanted more.
Stomach
and
makes
more.
loud
It is
noises.
wonderful.
I feel
This
you.
is one of those steaks that you don't want to stop eating. I know it sounds weird because you deep fried the steak, but man, it was good. It was real good. The Airfryer Steak. Heat up your air fryer to the highest
okay.
setting
Oh,
and
okay.
let it preheat. Once it gives you okay, open it up and throw in the steak. Cook it for 8 minutes. Once that was up, my steak was ready. As I sliced the steak, as you can see, it was
Dude,
cooked unevenly.
They just
But as I
know.
try it, it tastes okay. It's not an amazing steak, but it's okay. It is missing a crust.
It's okay.
Also not that tender.
Fucking
This
put
is
a
not
lighter on
great
it.
way to cook a steak. To fix it, I took my flamethrower and
Told
put
you.
some heat on it.
A
As you
lighter.
can see, now it has a nice char. And as I slice it up and give it a try, it is much better. Oh yeah, it's fixed.
Keegan,
this method works,
cook a steak
but
in
it's
it.
not the best.
The
King
dishwasher.
blend steak. Set up big lumps of charcoal.
Oh,
and
now
line
we're
up your
talking.
flames. With this method, you really want your charcoals to be white. Once that's done, just add your steak directly into the charcoal. As the steak touches the charcoal,
Let's
it will
go!
immediately cool it down. It is normal for the edges to burn. That fat is facing
How come he
direct
gets to
heat all
eat
the
it?
time. You want to keep flipping
Oh,
the
I
steak
will.
to ensure
Please
that it
do.
cooks
I
evenly.
actually beg you.
After 15 minutes, it's ready. Once I slice it open, this method works. It doesn't cook the steak evenly.
So does
as
he know
some
the
part of
methods
charcoals
work
are
before
harder
he
than
tries
others.
it?
But at the same time, it gives a very unique flavor to your steak. The char flavor is intense.
I'm now
in good
craving a
way.
steak and
Still
baked potato
extremely
with some
juicy
blue
and a
moon to
very
wash it down.
flavorful steak.
Dude,
This is
I'm
a
so
great way
sorry.
to experience a nice steak. And if you have never done it, you should try it.
Bye,
Just make
Chrissy.
sure you get lump charcoal. Do not use briquettes. If you do, instead of eating steaks, you're gonna eat ash. The panini press steak or George Foreman steak.
Sounds like a
Season
well
your
done steak to
throw it
me.
in, and let it cook for 8 minutes. After 8
Hi,
minutes,
Steel.
your steak is ready.
We're
And as I'm
learning how to
slicing the
cake,
steak,
how
as
to
you can
cake
see,
steak,
it's
how to
unevenly
make
cooked.
steak.
The cap is completely overcooked, but as I'm tasting it, it's alright. It's not amazing, it's not great, it's not wonderful. It is not a great way to cook a steak, but it does the job. It cooks it fast, convenient, and if you're somewhere that you don't have access to a stove or a grill, this will do the job. The boiled
I
steak.
say the
Bring your
dishwasher
pot to a
still,
boil
dude.
and throw the seasoned steak
What?
in there. Once the temperature of 125 degrees Fahrenheit has been reached, remove the steak. As it comes out of the water, it
Oh,
does
make
not
it
look very
and
appetizing.
steak
When
in
I
a
slice it up,
toaster.
as you can see, it's quite rare. I'm still gonna give it a go and see how it tastes.
Dude.
And as you would expect, it is not good. There's not much flavor. All the seasoning has been washed out. It's still juicy.
On the
and
carb
tender,
deal,
believe
let's
or
do it.
not,
Let's
but
do
there is
it.
zero flavor on the steak. It is also very unappetizing to eat. It needs a crust.
Dude,
and
that
more
looks
seasoning.
just
It can
warm.
still be saved.
That
Pan
looks
fry
like
in a hot
boiled in
skillet
water.
with oil. Throw in a big chunk of butter.
Oh, wait, it
taste
was.
as much as you can, and infuse the butter into the steak. When I brought it to the cutting board and I sliced it up,
That
oh,
looks
yes.
good.
Now we're talking. Juicy, tender. It's missing a little bit of salt,
Juicy,
but that can be
tender,
adjusted. It is now a good steak. The smoked steak.
He's
Let
not
it smoke to the
sharing, not
highest
fair.
setting And let it smoke until you reach an internal temperature of 130.
Joe, that looked good. Did you see the inside?
But it's perfectly
Medium
cooked.
rare. You
And as
love
I
it.
Take a bite, it is a very wonderful steak. Smoky flavor.
Tender.
Even the juiciness from the steak has smoke. It is a great way to cook a steak. It tastes completely different than charcoal. I wouldn't mind putting a nice crust on it, but
Joe,
it's so
you can cook a
delicious
steak in
that
a
it was not
dishwasher.
necessary. I ended up eating
Timber!
the steak all by myself. I didn't even care about the crust. The flavor was amazing. The butter steak. Melt
Can I
5
ask,
sticks of butter
how
and
long
set
did it take
yourself
him to
a
film this
medium
video?
low
Because there's no
heat. Throw in
chance he
your
went through
seasoned steak and
25
let it
fucking
cook in
steaks.
butter. It has a nice buttery smell that you expect it to be wonderful. And just like if it's not
I love
enough
butter, so this is
taste it
good.
a little bit more. Once it's cooked to an internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit,
Use the lighter.
steak is ready. And there we have it, the butter
Nah, I
toast
don't like
steak.
that.
Not as great looking as you thought, huh? As you can see, there's no crust.
Almost
at
as yummy as
all.
Red
It just
Sox.
looks
Not
nasty.
quite,
But
almost.
I gotta tell you, it smells good. So we're gonna slice it open and see how
I
it
either
tastes.
have a steak,
As I'm
set a
tasting the
candle, my
steak,
dinner's
oh
on
boy,
fire.
There's no flavor. The butter has completely washed out all the flavor from the steak. I'm trying another piece here to see if there's any flavor. There's no flavor. It's edible, but it's not good. This is just a terrible way to cook a steak and a huge waste of butter. Hashtag save the butter.
And the
Broiled
fucking meat!
steak. Set up a baking sheet with a cooling rack and add your seasoned steak. Heat up the oven in the broil setting. Put the rack of the oven as close as possible.
I'm
to
saying
the
he did it
heating
in a
element.
couple weeks.
Add
There's
your
no
steak and
chance you
close the
ate
door.
25
Keep an eye
pieces
on
of
it and
steak.
flip as many times as necessary. I did it 4 times. After 8 minutes of flipping, my steak was cooked. As you can see, it did not get a good crust. The fat is burned, but there's zero browning. It just looks horrible. My oven is
tummy
just not powerful
Thursday.
enough. As I slice it open, it looks cooked. But as you can see, the edges and the cap are cooked unevenly. But as I taste the steak, yeah, it's missing a crust. It's not a great steak.
It doesn't look
So
very
I got my
nice.
flamethrower and put it to work. Once that was done, I sliced it open, got a
Hmm.
piece. Oh yes, much better. Now it even tastes like charcoal.
Oh, look, he
a little
burnt
bit
it.
of that char made all the difference in the world. Broiled steak, not that
Undercarb,
good.
ask
You're better
him.
off making it in the pan. The car
Ask
engine
him.
steak. Wrap your
A what
seasoned
now?
steak in aluminum foil. Make sure to wrap it several times. You don't want fumes from the car into your steak. Pop up
Wait!
the hood and add your steak to your engine. Now make sure you put it in a place that it's not gonna fall off.
I
Close the
fucking-
hood
I'm
and
gonna let
either leave
myself
your car
out.
on for a few hours or just drive off and forget about the steak. Once you arrive from work, pop up the hood and take it out because it's dinner time.
Oh, we
You gotta
cooking
be
in the
careful
car
with this
now.
one. It's hot. It's real hot. Ooh, my nephew almost burned his hand right there. Make sure you use some protective
Of course, he let
Unwrap
his
the
nephew
steak,
take it
and
out.
to my surprise, it's cooked. It looks
Oh,
like it was
my.
cooked nicely. But once I flipped the steak, oh boy, we forgot to flip the steak in the car. It was just sitting there the same way and it was never flipped. Well, lesson learned. As I
That's
sliced the
bio,
steak, you
dude,
can
I
see that
know.
one side's still raw. But we gotta give it a try and see how it tastes. It's terrible. I can taste some weird. There's a funny taste to it.
Yes,
This
'cause
is
it's the
definitely
fucking
a
engine,
horrible way to cook
probably.
a steak. The salt crust steak.
In the
Unlike other
car?
Steaks, I only season
What
it
is
with
this?
garlic powder and freshly ground black pepper.
You
For
can
this
taste
method,
the
you wanna
fucking
use the right kind
car.
of salt. This is coarse salt. If you use fine table salt, this will not work. For one steak, I had to use 2 bottles.
What's happening?
After adding it to the bowl, just add a little bit of water. This will make
Now
the
I've
salt
seen it
pliable.
all.
This is the texture you're looking for. It needs to be
So
moldable.
snow.
Start off by making a bed so your steak can lie on it. Then cover the whole thing with salt. The only thing that you need to be careful with is to make sure that you're covering every single piece. I'm setting up my grill
That
to
will taste
indirect
good,
heat
huh?
at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The salt crust
I'm
acts as a
canceling this,
kiln,
man.
protecting and baking the steak. And one of the funny things that
Looks
happens
like
with
snow and
this
steak.
method is that the steak
It's not
only
yellow
absorbs
enough.
the right amount of salt. The only issue with this method is that you don't have a lot of control. You're basically guessing when the steak will be ready. I gave it 20 minutes. Break
You
up the salt crust and remove
Pretty
all
sure
of
same
it.
situation with the
meat
car
already
engine, but
absorbed the right amount of
who
salt.
knows?
Once I wiped it all out, it was ready for the sear. Sear it hot and fast. And there you have it, the salt crust steak. Because you're guessing the time that it will take to cook the steak, it is not an ideal way to do it. Unless you break
Guys,
the
I don't know how I
crust and
feel.
take the temperature as it's cooking. But
I
for
don't know
this
how I
steak,
feel.
I didn't. And it's a little bit overcooked. This method
Echo.
works, but if you ask me, I'd rather save money and buy more steak instead of buy more salt. The chicken fried steak. Season the steak well with salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
Go
Grab your
again?
flour and also season it well. I'm using my barbecue rub. If
Joe,
want
I
the
feel
recipe,
you.
it'll be on the description.
That'd
The
be
secret
salty,
of a
that's what I
great chicken
mean.
fried steak is to season everything well. For today, I'm using
Vlogs, if you get hold of them, let me
and I
know.
did the same
I'm coming
thing.
with
I
you.
Season it well with my barbecue rub. Then you want to coat your steak nicely in the egg wash. Take it to the flour. Make sure it's coated well. Bring it
Dude,
back
that's-
to the egg wash and finish it off with the panko bread.
That's how I cook
Add your
chicken.
cast iron to the heat and fill it up with canola oil. Bring the oil to 300
Hi,
degrees
Knox.
Fahrenheit and add your steak. Since this steak is an inch thick, the crust will brown faster than it's cooked. So once the crust has a browning that you're
That
happy
cutting
with,
board.
as you can see,
Ah.
this one is looking gorgeous. Remove it from the oil and put it in your oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. That will give
Alright.
you a perfectly cooked chicken fried steak. And there you
Knox
have
has
it,
seen it
chicken
and done it
fried
all.
steak. Oh yes.
Chicken fried
Perfectly medium rare.
steak.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's
this is
closer
an
to
amazing
rare than
steak.
medium.
As expected, extremely juicy.
Are you
and
lying
tender.
to me?
But most important, that crust.
Oh,
is incredible.
yes.
The breadcrumbs combination with the steak is
The
just
amount I'm
amazing.
learning. I'm
This
learning.
is heaven on a plate. It's a wonderful way to cook a steak, and I don't think there's anyone on earth that would not like this. So give it a shot. The clothing iron steak. Get your iron and set it to the highest setting. Do not add water.
The
to
more
the
you know,
steam.
Knox.
You don't want to
The
steam
more you
your
know.
steak. After seasoning the steak, it's pretty straightforward. Just
His
press
voice
it
is
down
nice,
and
huh?
Let it cook.
Oh
It is
my
important
God.
For you to cook both sides, so make sure you flip. Once you use
Huh?
your clothing iron once for cooking a steak, you can never iron your clothes with it ever again. From that day on, it will be the meat. Sure, this was a surprise.
Dishwasher,
It tastes juicy,
iron, you
tender.
name it,
It's good.
dude.
It works. The
I might put it in my
microwave steak.
PC.
After putting on a safe
No,
microwave.
don't ruin this nice steak in the microwave. Clean your microwave!
And make sure you take an Instagram picture for it. After 5
No!
minutes, 125
Why?
degrees,
I feel
it
you.
was ready.
I
And there
feel
you
you.
have it, the microwaved steak. As you can see, extremely appealing, isn't it? As I'm slicing up the steaks and I look
No,
at it, it looks
not the
pretty good. It's perfectly
microwave.
cooked to medium rare in the middle. Obviously, there's no crust. It is extremely juicy and it
No.
feels very tender. And as soon as I take a bite, oh yeah, that's not good. This is a horrible way to cook a steak. It's still edible, and if you have no other option, this is okay. But let me be clear, it is not
Put on
as
the
bad as you
CPU
might
whilst
think.
playing
We can
Minecraft with
also
shaders.
save the steak by throwing in some butter
And a
getting
mod
beautiful
pack. Don't
crust.
forget
Once
solid
that's
mod
done,
pack.
now you
Cooking
can see
steak.
what it looks
Cook.
like,
Oh, cooking
and you
stream,
never
dude.
thought
I
this
would
was
do a cooking
microwaved
stream.
first. As I
Happily.
slice the steak, it's a little bit overcooked, but let me tell you, this crust is incredible. And it tastes
Hi, Edgeman.
phenomenal. It's very juicy,
25
super
ways
buttery, and it was an amazing dinner
of
for
cooking
me
steak.
and my family members. No one could tell that it was microwaved first. As you can see, this part is perfectly medium rare. The steamed steak. Add a bunch of water to your pot.
Okay,
leave it to boil,
okay.
add your
I
steam.
can't watch the
Steam it
stream
for a bit.
anymore. I'm sorry,
As you can
Vlogs.
see,
Forgive
this
me.
is not a pretty steak. It just looks horrible, very unappetizing. And
Looks
as I
like you
slice it
washed
open,
it
just
in
as
warm
bad.
water.
This is one of those steaks that I had a hard time giving it a try. And even my other family members did not want to try it either. But I did it anyway. And it's flavorless.
Alright,
It seems
okay.
like all the seasoning washed out. Very similar to the boiled steak. Cooking a steak this way should just be illegal. This is just terrible. Or maybe we can fix it by putting a crust on it. I'm using this culinary torch which did the job. Once I sliced it open and
Pretty
turned
much
the other
not.
side, to my surprise, it did not fix it. I think this is the only method that it's unsavable. There's no beefy flavor. It seems like everything is watered down. It's a
Should just
terrible
be
way to
legal.
cook a steak. The reversed seared steak. Once you add the charcoal
Whoa,
to
whoa,
your grill,
whoa.
take the heat to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Set in your steak and cook it in indirect heat. Once the temperature of 125
Indirect
degrees
heat.
Fahrenheit was reached, it is time to sear it. As you can see, this steak is red. That is a sign that it was smoked, which gives a wonderful flavor. Next, be sure to keep flipping as many times as
I could eat that. I could eat that.
Unattended. Once you are happy with the color, it is done. As soon as you slice the steak,
Oh, I could eat that.
This is phenomenal.
I could. I tell you that. I could.
Because the steak was slow cooked before, it really has a pronounced charcoal flavor. It seems that even the seasoning is better pronounced. Salt blocked before, and I brought it to temperature nice and slow. Now I've always heard that salt block is slow, but I never experienced it until it works. But again, just make sure you don't have an exploding
I might go
salt
buy a
block.
steak.
The skewer steak. You definitely don't want to use this kind. This is more for like ground beef. This is good for like small pieces, but not a steak. For a steak, you want to use this kind. This will allow you to flip the steaks very easily as it's cooking and cook them over charcoal. One of the great things about this method is that you can easily flip them with.
I just say get deodorant and a lighter. You know?
This method is very popular
Flamethrower.
in many other countries.
Don't do it.
If you're
Don't do
thinking
it.
that because you put a hole on the steak, you will be dry, you are incorrect. This method works great, and it has been used for thousands of years.
See, that looks
As I slice the
okay.
steak, you can tell how juicy it is. The toaster oven
Juicy.
steak. Slice your steak thin. So it can
Toaster?
sit inside
Which one of you said you were gonna use a
Season it
toaster?
well with salt,
Tech?
pepper, and
Tech, I
garlic
think it
powder.
was you.
Remove the bottom part of your toaster. If not, juices would just make a mess. Add the steaks and put it to the highest setting.
Oh my
Run it
God.
through 3 cycles. The
Oh
cool
my-
thing about this method is that you can see what's happening, and it looks like it's working. To my
Oh
surprise,
my God.
this is the toaster oven steak. I mean, honestly, what can I tell you? It's not cooking evenly. There's no crust. It was looking great inside of the toaster.
Don't wonder why
but
my
I mean,
bread
it did
burns
cook steak.
halfway
This is
through.
just a mess. When tasting it, it tastes horrible. Not
Looks
good.
like
Don't
ham.
Try this at home. This is a terrible way to cook a steak. The wine steak. Add a full bottle of
Ooh,
water to
okay,
your
now
cast
we're
iron
talking my
and bring it to
language.
a
Put
boil.
some gin
Throw
in there
your
and you're
seasoned
my
steak and
friend.
let it cook
I got
for
no water.
15 minutes. I must warn you, your entire house will smell like wine. If you're not careful, the wine flavor
I can
will
live with that.
infuse into your walls, and it will be hard to remove the smell of wine from your house.
That's
As the
fine.
steak were cooking, I literally had to walk out. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a smell of wine, but as it's cooking, it is just
Oh my
horrible.
God,
And
the
then you
color
have
of
the
it.
wine steak. As you can see, there's no crust. It's
Get
basically a
trashed, I
boiled
say.
steak in wine. Actually, that's literally what it is. And as I'm trying at the steak, it's terrible. I can tell you right now, this is the worst way to cook a steak. There's no flavor of meat.
Not the
There's no
microwave,
flavor of
not the
wine.
dishwasher,
It's
and
horrible. Out of
fucking
all the
wine.
methods I tried, this was the worst. This was 2.5 hours. Once that's done,
How
remove it
many?
from the bag and
20
give it
and a
sear.
half?
There's many methods, but today I choose this one. Once perfectly seared,
How
slice
many
it up,
hours?
And there you have it, perfectly cooked steak. Sous vide will give you the most consistent steak every time.
Oh, 2.5,
This is a
okay.
wonderful steak. And if you
Oh,
have
okay.
never tried it, you should.
There we have it, almost every way to cook a steak. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If I forgot any method that you think it's awesome,
You had too many methods. Just a couple too many. Damn, kinda hot. This guy's the man. I'm not sure if I'm scarred or hungry.